All right, everyone, we have fairly big political news from the United States right now. It's more important than a lot of people are giving it credit for. Dianne Feinstein is not well. Even odds says she doesn't even make it to the end of her Senate term, at which point this, by the way, this blockage goes away. Link in the description. Archived, of course. She was hospitalized in February with shingles. Shingles is a debilitating condition. It's caused by having been infected with chicken pox, actually, and that chicken pox can resurge and cause fairly crippling ailments later on in life. It's not common that people that got chicken pox get shingles, which is why they vaccinate typically for chicken pox now to prevent this from happening with a non-live virus. But when it does happen, it can get bad. It can cause spotting all over, especially the middle of your body, extreme pain, etc., etc. It's not a pleasant disease. My grandfather actually had it briefly. He never got really crippled up by it. His wasn't a severe case, but he would complain about about that incapacity. So she's been hospitalized until very recently, and is now still sort of resting. She's missed a large number of votes. The problem for the Dems is that Feinstein is on the Senate Judiciary Committee. Without Feinstein able to actually show up, they can't push through Biden judges. The Republicans have decided, therefore, to obstruct her requested temporary replacement. She wanted Schumer actually to act in her stead as a temporary replacement for the Senate Judiciary so that they could simply ram through Biden's federal judge nominees and bring them to a full floor vote. Absent the filibuster, of course, for those nominees, they then get sped through the process in an entirely partisan manner. Now they'll have to do, because the Republicans won't let them replace Feinstein with a temp replacement. They're forcing her to do her job. Now the Biden admin is in a little bit of a pickle because one of the things that it has done, now it's entirely partisan. I don't support, I'm sure, most of these nominees because I can't imagine that someone that the Biden admin finds legally qualified is going to make actual constitutional decisions. One thing that his administration has been adept at, one of the few things, is getting through judges. It really is echoes of the Trump admin. Again, we have to give credit where credit's due to someone who otherwise rarely receives it, to Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell was also expediting this process when Trump was president. One of the few things that he did right. So by obstructing her replacement, unless Feinstein miraculously recovers and goes back to work on a regular basis, Joe Biden's going to have a shit ton of federal court vacancies racked up over the coming year and a half, which is good. They shouldn't be able to nominate replacements for federal courts. They shouldn't be able to do it because the Biden administration doesn't understand the Constitution. The GOP has, in fact, grown a spine, which is very, very intriguing to see. This is the right decision. I agree with it. I realize it's below the belt dirty politics by saying, okay, we're going to take advantage of the fact that the ailing senator who's pushing 90 years old, I believe, is sick. She's not going to be able to regularly show up to vote on these things. She's not going to have the energy. She's going to be at home relaxing, probably on bed rest much of the time. Could croak at any time too anyway. I mean, again, Feinstein croaking now is something that the Democrats would like. They've been trying to force her to resign anyway. I like the indignance, by the way, that they show at this. Well, you're harming this sick old lady by forcing her to show up and do her job that she sought another Senate term for. So, you've got that. But you were all saying that she should stand down. You wanted Katie Porter, who has a domestic violence scandal, to replace her. You're telling her now that she shouldn't even serve out her term, she should just resign. You're treating her worse than the Republicans are by simply obstructing her temp replacement. Again, yes, Chuck Schumer is going to be totally nonpartisan in his choice of yay or nay on judicial nominees. It's totally not an attempt to rubber stamp the process for the Biden stewardship. Well, it is. It's dirty politics, but the GOP at least grew a spine. Normally they flee from such fights. They'd be afraid of being called misogynists or something. They have a little bit more balls now. Donald Trump didn't manage to give them back their full set of balls. But they're not castrato anymore. They've got one testicle that half functions. It's a better GOP than the FUD GOP of the 90s or the 2000s. It's better than the Bush era. Last night I spent some time looking back at debate footage, especially from 2016. And it's astonishing how weak the messaging is from most people in the Republican Party. And other than Trump and Rand Paul and for one shining moment Chris Christie, there wasn't a lot to go on there now, was there? The spine that they have grown now is going to cock-block the Biden admin again unless they force Feinstein to come into work. Or, conversely, and this could bring pressure for that, they increase the pressure on Feinstein to stand down. It is now a 50-50 shot whether she doesn't resign or not. I mean, again, there's a chance she doesn't even manage to finish out her term. She is ailing. She does have dementia. We know this. She's in physical decline. She's now suffering from shingles, and it's managing to put her down for the better part of 2 months when it happens. All signs point to her maybe not even making it to the end of the line for her Senate term. Now we've got to ask, will she recognize this and stand down? I mean, if she can't do her job, the Democrats are fundamentally right. If you're not capable of doing your legislative job and there's no reason to speculate that you're going to improve, unlike Fetterman. Okay, Fetterman had a stroke, but he's recovered, hint, mostly. He has chronic depression because of his stroke. He's in Walter Reed for a month, but you expect that he'll come out and be able to do his job at some point. With Feinstein, you can't expect that. Again, she's just too fucking old. The gerontocracy trudges on very slowly with a pair of runners at best, usually in a wheelchair, and Feinstein's replacement won't be happening, so in the meantime, I'm sure the Dems will be, again, the indignance is entirely false. It's totally political. The GOP bad for ridiculing this woman and making her do hard work, which is sitting there and talking briefly, while she's sick. Otherwise, we can't function. It's obstruction. But we want her to just fuck off. We want her to just go, okay, you've had a long, distinguished career. Yeah, you were the AIDS senator, and that famous picture where she's holding the gun entirely improperly to demonstrate the evil baby-killing AR-15. That's probably the symbol of her entire Senate career. You've had a long, distinguished career of being an entirely liberal shill who made hundreds of millions of dollars off of a Senate salary. Seems to happen an awful lot now, don't it? But you need to leave now. Bye. If Chuck Schumer can't replace you, then we need somebody else to do it instead. We'll just get Katie Porter in there. She can do your job. Since they want a mean lady who dumps steaming mashed potatoes all over people's heads to replace Dianne Feinstein. I don't know which is worse, Feinstein's record on guns or the prospect of Katie Porter being in the Senate, so we'll see what happens. But for right now, no new judges from the Biden administration. They've put the kibosh to that at least for some time. Again, pending Feinstein literally dying, stepping down, or the end of her Senate career, or a miraculous recovery, which I can't see happening. Again, she's more likely to die than to recover at this point, given what we know about her health conditions. That's about all. Peace out.